Hello, my Teaserking family. The professor here, just looking at what's going on today. We have about 45 minutes for the Michigan game. Looking at the line, I see some big moves. Michigan State game. Penn State's now a 5-point favorite. Don't know what's happening. I can't see an injury that changed. The receivers are questionable. Maybe the quarterback's out. I don't know. But if you find that information out, I don't know who. If I don't know who's out, I don't know if I love Penn State or not. I mean, Michigan State is a home dog. You think would be a good play, but we'll see who's out. So find out that information. I'll look for it, of course, and we'll see. We'll see who we play. So let me go through the line. My computer's slow for a reason. Oh, there it came up. And let's see. All right. Oh, Ohio State 7-64. Started at 6. I saw some 8s, and now I see basically 7s, a couple 7.5s. Army, Liberty's lane 3, couple of 3.5s, over under 52. Go Army, beat Navy. Tennessee 31.5, 64 over Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt stinks. They're the Z team. Duke and Miami. Miami is 20.5, 21. Over under of 67. Basically, I see 168, 67.5. Georgia State 6.5, 49 over Troy. Pitt 12.5, 12, 57.5 over Syracuse. They're just not the same. I don't know if it's the quarter they lost their quarterback or what, but they were a really good team, and now they're just not scoring very much. Navy 13.5, 42.5, 43. Wake Forest 5.5, 64 and 64.5 and a 65 against BC. West Virginia 15.5, 55 over Kansas. Louisville 3 and 57 over Kentucky. Houston 32-54 over Connecticut. Connecticut's the Z team. Rutgers 1.5, 52 over Maryland. The crap game of the day. Georgia is 35, 54.5 all over Georgia Tech. Should be another shutout for Georgia. Purdue 14.5 and 15. I see a 16 over Indiana. Over under a 50. Indiana's just terrible this last month. Their 4th-string quarterback, and Purdue's been playing really strong. Virginia 7, 64.5 over Virginia Tech. Illinois 6.5, 44 over Northwestern. Toledo 28.5, 57.5 over the Z team Akron. Baylor 14, 51 over Texas Tech. Baylor's quarterback Bohannon is questionable with the hamstring for the last 3 days. If they need the game, he's going to play. I don't know if they need it. Really, whoever wins Oklahoma State. Well, I shouldn't say that. If Oklahoma wins, I think Baylor then ties Oklahoma, and they beat them head-to-head. Oak State beat Baylor. So if Oak State wins, then Oak State wins the conference. And then I think it's them and Baylor in the conference championship game. We'll see if they can get in. Alabama is going to lose to Georgia next week. They'll have 2 losses. So I would think the winner of the Oak State-Baylor game would have a chance for the playoff. Again, the Big 12 probably getting screwed here, but we'll see. Wisconsin 7-39 over Minnesota. Wisconsin couldn't beat anybody and played terrible. Now they're playing better. We'll see what happens as a road favorite. Miami of Ohio 1.5, 67 over Kent State. 2 over teams slugging it out. You can almost tell if it's an over teams because of when it's 67, they're probably pretty high scoring teams, and a 39, like the Wisconsin game is 39, and it's, 2 good defensive teams. UTSA 9.5 over North Texas, over under 59. Arizona State 20-53 in the rivalry game with Arizona at ASU. Old Dominion is 9 over Charlotte, 55.5, 56. New Mexico State 7-59 over UMass. A bit of Z teams. App State 24.5, 55 over Georgia Southern. I think App State needs it to win the Sun Belt. Louisiana Lafayette has the other one wrapped up, the other side of the Sun Belt. BYU 7-64 over USC. UCLA 6.5, 58.5 over Cal. Oregon is 7 over Oregon State, 7-61. That line opened at 13, so it's dropped quite a bit. Southern Miss 14-46 over Florida International. Notre Dame 19.5, some 20s over Stanford and 52. Notre Dame must win big to have a chance for the playoff, because Cincinnati won, and their only hope is Cincinnati losing. If Cincinnati doesn't lose, Notre Dame can't go over Cincinnati. They're not going to go over Georgia or Ohio State, and that leaves them. What happens if Alabama loses? Does Notre Dame have a shot for the 4th seed, or is it going to the Big 12 champ? Wyoming 11-48 over Hawaii. Oklahoma State is 4.5, 49 over Oklahoma, and I think Oklahoma State wins by 20 in this game. SMU 6.5, 62 over Tulsa. SMU very explosive, especially at home. Alabama 20.5, 57 over Auburn. Again, Alabama needs to win big to keep in the playoffs. This is the beauty of college, where the teams, they can't win by 3 points. In the NFL, if they win by 1, they're happy they won. But here, Alabama, Notre Dame, they got to win by a ton, because it's all like looks, right? Oh, Alabama, if you only beat Auburn by 3 points, you're not going to be in the playoff. Look at poor Cincinnati. And they struggled with Tulane and Tulsa, and then so Alabama's got to win this game big. Bo Nix is out. I expect them to win big. Memphis 6.57 over Tulane. Clemson 11.5, 42 over South Carolina. Clemson's been playing better because they found a running back. The quarterback still sucks, but the running back is running for 200 yards a game. So, let's see how strong Clemson is. Marshall is 1, and I see 1-2, 70. Well, it's weird. I see a 72, a 74.5, a 75 with Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky is very explosive. Marshall's not as explosive as Western Kentucky. I think you got a live dog with Western Kentucky. Now here's the game I started with. Penn State is now 5.5, 51.5 over Michigan State. Michigan State started as a 1-point favorite in a 53. So it's a little bit of the gone down, but not a lot. It's more gone on Penn State than gone under. So I don't think Michigan State's quarterback's out. The receivers were questionable. And I'm just shocked if the receivers are out. But we'll see, because this is a big game, the last home game and all that. So I don't know what's the injury, but I don't know. I mean, until I know, Michigan State's a pretty good home dog, so we'll see. They did beat Michigan at home, so I'm curious if I can figure out the injury. It's at 3:30. Florida 358 over Florida State. A&M is anywhere from 4.5 to 6.5. 46-47 over LSU. Probably an under game. A&M, good defense, not a good offense. Louisiana Lafayette, 21.5, 55 over Louisiana Monroe. Louisiana Monroe was playing better offensively, and now they're not, and very inconsistent what's going on there. Probably injuries. Lafayette's a very strong team. Arkansas State is 2 over under 62 against Texas State, a battle of the Z's. Florida Atlantic is 3.5, 50, 49.5 over Middle Tennessee State. Middle Tennessee State, pretty good offense. Why does it do that? I hate when the screen, I'm on scores, I'm on Vegas Insider, and all of a sudden it refreshes. And it goes back to the Nevada is now down to 3. I see 1 3.5, 57.5 over Colorado State. Now Nevada's out of winning the conference. I'm not sure if it's a rivalry, just the fact of, Nevada's in Nevada, Colorado State's in Colorado in the mountains. So mountains won't hurt Nevada here because they're in the mountains. So I don't know, 3.5. I like the Nevada quarterback. And then Georgia is 3.5 and 4.51. I see some 51.5s against Alabama. Georgia wins that game. Not a problem. Let's see. Do we have hi, Alex. Good morning. Oh, I do have an noise. Any questions or comments? Anybody know anything about the Penn State, Michigan State game? Let me know. I go on Covers. Covers doesn't really, they just list the receivers as questionable. I find I don't get the game day. I'm not getting the game day, update. So if 3 Michigan State receivers are out, I don't know about it. Again, they're just listed as questionable. So you try to look at the big ones. Score prediction: Ohio State, Michigan State. I'm going to say Michigan, Ohio State, 45-30, something like the Purdue game. Michigan will not stop Ohio State. Again, Michigan. If you look at the Michigan State game, Michigan State scored 37 on them, ran it down their throat, and they're not nearly the offense Ohio State is. Michigan's defense has never been able to stop Ohio State. They won't stop them now. They don't have that really strong defense. They had trouble against Penn State, Michigan. Ohio State had a little bit. Maybe it'll be like the Penn State game where they won 33-24. But I think Ohio State gets in the 40s, because I think the way they looked against Michigan State, who's got a very good defense and a very good team, and they beat Michigan. That's how I judge it, right? So, Purdue got 30 on them, and Michigan State didn't score anything on them. And Michigan State and Purdue have pretty good defenses, so I don't see Michigan stopping them. They'll be in the 40s to probably the 20s. 45-28, 45-31. Michigan, they like to run the ball. I don't see them when you're down by 20 points. Maybe they keep running, but Harbaugh gets out coached. He's not a good game coach. There was the Niners were playing the Giants when the Giants went to the Super Bowl 2 years. It was so the Niners went to the Super Bowl, and then I think the year before the Giants went and beat New England, and Frisco's got them. Frisco's dominating the Giants. The Giants can't get a first down. And the kid, They force the Giants to punt. The kid fumbles the punt early in the game. Then it comes fourth quarter. Now it's money time, and the kid's still out there. And again, he fumbles the punt. The Giants recover, kick a field goal, win the game. The Richard Sherman game. What does he do? He has Kaepernick throw the ball right to Richard Sherman. Like, are you out of your mind? So the special teams always let him down. He could never win the big ones. At Stanford, he pulled the big upset against USC when they were 40-point dogs by running the ball. But basically, he doesn't know how to win the big game. He doesn't know how to coach well enough to win the big games. A couple of years ago at Ohio State in this game, they're dominating the game. They had the great defense, and they're up like 17-0, and Ohio State can't even get a first down in the game. That's how strong Michigan's defense is. So what does Harbaugh do? He's got the ball at his own 5-yard line, and instead of just even punting on third down, they're not going to move on your defense. What does he do? The quarterback throws I don't know what it was, just an out or something or a curl. Ohio State intercepts it and runs it in for a touchdown. So the only way Ohio State can score is on a turnover. So what does the idiot do? He turns it all. He throws a pass from his own goal line, pick six, and then Ohio State wins. And wonders why he can't beat Ohio State. Well, they had him that year. It should never have come down to the bad call where does the Ohio State quarterback get the first down on 4th and 1 in overtime or whatever, or going into overtime. So Harbaugh does not know how. He has no idea how to beat Ohio State. He won't beat them this time. 21-1 Ohio State. Should be Ohio State will not. That's the problem. I think the only team that can beat Ohio State is Georgia because their defense will shut down Ohio State. And Ohio State maybe will get 20 on Georgia. So that'd be a great championship game. Ohio State and Georgia. Georgia will beat Alabama badly next week. Alabama does not have the defense to handle Georgia's offense, and that little style that Alabama plays. They couldn't beat A&M. They barely beat LSU. What are they going to do when they play a real defense like Georgia? So I got 3 locks today and 1 tomorrow. I think I got 3 locks. I got a lot of really strong games today. Just the pattern I use, sort of like Miami over, Wake Forest over. I mentioned Alabama, Notre Dame needing to win. So I'm looking for teams needing to win for the playoffs. I'm looking for teams needing to Florida State. What about them? They don't need to win. They're playing Florida. Need to win for a bowl. I can beat Florida. Well, but Florida's pretty beat up, and their coach is gone. So, I mean, if you want, they're a dog, but I don't know. Just play Miami over, Wake over, or you always got to complicate it with the oddball game that who's looking at Florida State. I don't know. I mean, I guess they're probably a live dog. I would think they're playing well. Their backup quarterback. I wish Mackenzie Milton was quartering, but I think he's just too injured. Doesn't seem to do anything. So yeah, I mean, I think they'll play good. I think it's a rivalry game. Back in the 70s, it was rivalry weekend, and I went 22-1 on my teasers. So that's Oregon State dog, Washington State dog, USC UCLA dog. I just took all the dogs in all the rivalry games, and they all won. They all came through. And my bookie's like, okay, see you later. We can't take your action anymore. Florida State playing well. Florida may have quit. Yeah, well, the coach, they definitely quit on the coach. Florida State needs to win for first bowl in 3 years. It's a situational play. How good's Florida State, and can they win? I mean, that's what you got to look at. Even though a team needs to win, are they good enough to win? And what's the matchup like? did Florida really quit? Yeah, but this is a big rivalry game now. They're playing against players that they played high school with, and they want to beat them. So teases Florida. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, I think, you know, I think it should be a close game. I don't know. I don't think Florida quits because it's a rivalry, but I think it'll be close. I think Florida State's got enough skill to keep a close game. They might win it, but like I said, I don't know. Their quarterback's okay. He's one of these option quarterbacks. Again, I'd feel better if Mackenzie Milton was healthy and quarterbacking, but yeah, I mean, it seems like a logical play. What do I got? Florida State at? I got them both as over teams. The over under is 59. So, yeah, I mean, so Florida State should score on them. Florida doesn't have that real tight defense. Let me go into the game if my computer will allow me. Computer's really slow today. Yeah, every time I go into this Google Docs sheets, it's really slow. I think it goes into the cloud and then it just takes forever. Yeah, let's wait for it to come up. What else? Oklahoma State, I think they beat Oklahoma pretty good. I think they pull a Baylor. Baylor had 27-17. I think Oak State at home really pounds them because they can. I think it's what do I got? I got Oklahoma State's really the A team there. They got a really good defense. They're starting to score lately. Oklahoma does not, they're an over team. They're really not that strong. They're really not that strong. Well, over is maybe a better play because if you can, do you trust Florida State? And that's really the question. So it's 59, or at least that's what it was. 53. Florida State plays pretty high scoring games. You got the feedback? I think when I went into my other file, it's my computer's been really low today. I see myself, so I can see it. Yeah, I see slow now. Now I see I got it. All right, let me know if you can still, if I'm still live. Or did you just lose it, Alex, on your end? I don't know. I see myself moving, so I see myself fine. But yeah, the internet's definitely slow today. Anybody there? Can you still see me? Maybe Alex lost it. Anyway, so Oak State, I think, wins the game at least by 10. I don't like Oklahoma's quarterbacks. They go to the freshman who's one of these runners, and Oak State will handle that. They got a really good defense, Oak State, and they're starting to score, so they're a very dangerous A team. I think they're much better than Oklahoma, and here's where the brand gets you because you go, well, it's Oklahoma, and I'm like, yeah, but not this year. This year they're an over team. Their defense is not good. They don't run the ball very well, and they don't have a really good quarterback. The coach can't decide which one to put out there, so I don't really see. Hi, Mike. What's your top three plays? I'm taking Oklahoma State minus 10.5. Minus 10.5. What are you doing? A reverse teaser? Oak State's minus 4.5. So I'm a little confused on that. My top three plays are my locks, so you have to go by my locks. I gave you like Alabama and Notre Dame, but they're not my top plays, but they're good plays. Oklahoma State, take the over in Miami. I like the over in Louisville too. Louisville's a very they score a lot. Their quarterback's one of these scrambler, but he can throw. And Kentucky can score a lot too, even though you think they're a team. So there you go. There's 5-6 plays. I got three college locks and a pro lock. So I got 4 locks going, really strong ones. I really love 2 of them. One's an automatic, and then the other 2 I love. And then I finally found a pro one that I like. It's a live dog. I'll give you that much. Pros are so much more difficult. But again, if anybody knows what's going on in the Penn State-Michigan State game, let me know. Money's pouring in on Penn State. They're up to 5.5. I saw it initially. Where is it? Michigan State, Penn State. Where did they go? They disappeared on my sheets. Michigan State, Penn State. Oh, that's weird. Maybe it's on sheet 2. Here it is. Yeah, I mean, so it starts Penn State minus 1.5, 52. And now you got Penn State minus 4.5 or 5. I mean, that's just that's an injury. I don't know, but I don't see the over-under really didn't drop. If Michigan State's quarterback was out, I could see it dropping to 48, 47. But it's still like 51, 52, 53. So I don't know. All I saw is the receivers were definitely injured. I'll give you a live dog, Mike. How about that? Western Kentucky getting 8 tonight against Marshall. Very explosive team, very good quarterback. They throw for a lot of yards, and they definitely can score. So I think they can keep that game close. Marshall, I really liked last year. They changed coaches, and they're just not the same this year. So I don't think Marshall's defense is going to bother Western Kentucky. They're going to light it up because that's what Western Kentucky does. Very good quarterback. So at this time of the year, you're betting the defense, the quarterback. And now all the cards are exposed, right? So if we're playing Texas Hold'em in the beginning of the year, you've got your whole cards and nobody's made a bet. You don't know what the teams are. And then as the weeks start rolling out, you see the flop and you get a better feel for the teams, but then there's injuries that come up and other things. And now we're at the river. So now we've got our hand. We've seen the 5 cards on the table. Now we pretty much know what's going on. We know if we won or not. Like Clemson, we know their quarterback sucks, but now they found a running back. So now what do we do with them? So like I said, live dogs today. Let's go to the live dogs today. So let's see. Army's a live dog. Kentucky, I think, is a live dog, getting points from Louisville. Virginia Tech, I think, is a live dog. It's a big rivalry game. Let's see. Miami of Ohio could be a live dog today. A lot of these rivalry games, like before, Arizona State, Arizona, I would have been all over the dog, but not Arizona's on their 3rd quarterback. Oregon State's a live dog, getting 13. I do not like Oklahoma as a live dog in this game. Like I say, I think Oklahoma State uh, wins by at least 14, if not 20. I think once they get rolling on them, they're just going to beat the hell out of them because Oklahoma wins this game most of the time. But Oklahoma State's got the defense this year. And Oklahoma's struggling with their quarterback. Rattler, I don't like. He's not very good. The other guy reminds me of just Jalen Hurts, where he's just fast. So he runs, but he's not a good quarterback. Auburn's quarterback's out, Bo Nix, so I don't like Auburn as a live dog, but I do like Alabama. Western Kentucky, I gave you as a live dog. For Alex, I'll say Florida State's a live dog. And I like Nevada tonight. That line moved from 4-3, but I love their quarterback, Carson Strong. I love when they talk Heisman and they don't talk Carson Strong from Nevada. They don't talk Hayden from Fresno State. It's like, dudes, the Alabama quarterback is not that. He's not as good as these guys. So I just don't understand. We're gonna pick a guy from Alabama and a guy from Ohio State, and it's like, dudes, it's they're not that good this year. Anyway, Georgia. So this week you got a lot of games for the playoffs. The playoff game and the win the conference. So if I look at that, Cincinnati's already won. Houston needs to win. Wake Forest, Clemson, NC State, and Pitt all need to win or have a loss of somebody. So if Wake Forest wins, they win. Clemson's out. Clemson, it doesn't matter. They're playing South Carolina. It's not even a conference game. NC State beat North Carolina, and so they did their job. Pitt needs to win to clinch. Oklahoma State, and Baylor. Well, we know the story there. Baylor's beaten Oklahoma and lost to Oak State. So if Oak State wins, they're the champ. If they lose, then I think it's a three-way tie. Baylor needs to win playing Texas Tech. Their quarterback's got a pulled hamstring, so I don't know if he's playing or not. But they got great running, so I look for them to run the ball down their throat. Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa in the Big Ten. Ohio State plays Michigan, winner take all. Iowa's won yesterday, and that leaves Wisconsin at Minnesota. So Wisconsin needs to win to get there. Western Kentucky Marshall is playing for their half of the conference. UTSA is already in. Notre Dame needs to win for the playoff. San Diego State's already won. Fresno State's already won. The Air Force has already won. And Utah State's already won on their conference. MAC, we don't care. Oregon State, Washington State. I think Washington State won yesterday. So Oregon State. I think the winner gets it. Well, I don't know. I think Washington State. If Oregon State wins, I think Washington State wins. I'm not, because I think they needed Washington State to lose, because I think Washington State beat Oregon State. But this will be Oregon State's definitely tease the dog. Georgia's already in. Alabama needs to win for the playoff, not for the SEC. It's going to be Georgia, Alabama already. And Lou Lafayette and App State should win their side. But I think Lou Lafayette needs to win. Or I think App State needs to win. Lou Lafayette, I think, is already they're like undefeated in the Sun Belt, so I think they're in, but they would win the conference. So those are the teams that need to win. You got your rivalry games, which they're not like the past. Before it would just tease the dog all of the. Now you said you like Oak State by 10. I think they'll win by 10. That's not the line. The line's Oak State -4. So I'm staying. I think Oak State will beat Oklahoma, but the line's only 4. So if you want Oak State, you just need to lay 4. But I'm saying is I think they'll win by at least 10. Oak State, just they're going to pound them because A, they can, and B, they're playing really well, and they got the defense this year, where Oklahoma would win on their running quarterbacks. Their quarterback play is really bad this year. Their defense is not good, and Oak State is really, the last 2 or 3 games have really been hitting the scoreboard. So I'm saying is I think Oak State wins by more than 10, but you're only laying 4 or 4.5, and in a teaser you're getting 1.5 or 2. That's what I'm saying. So just keep an eye on that. The late game, I would say, is Nevada laying 3 to Colorado State, over under a 55.5. Nevada's the A team, Colorado State's the E team. So their defense isn't too bad. They give up in the 20s. An E team gives up between 22, 23, and 29. If they're 30, I note them as a weak defense. And so, no, they give up maybe 25, 26. So Nevada should be able to move. If you want a late game, take Nevada plus they're laying 3.5, 4, so take Nevada plus the points. Reed, do you still think Ohio State is a lock? Line is down to 7. Well, I like Ohio State down to 1. I think they're going to win the game. That's what you're asking me. The line's been 7. It's been 6, 6.5, 7. I gave you the score before. Ohio State probably 45, Michigan 28, maybe 31. Ohio State wins by at least 2 touchdowns in the game. Yeah. So don't get all caught up in the line. Now, if the line moved down to 3 and the quarterback was out, that's a different story, but I'm not seeing any major injuries to Ohio State. Olavi's playing, the quarterback's playing, the running back's playing. Believe me, if they can walk, they're playing in this game. So, I love Ohio State in this game. They win it they're 21-1, and I bet with the streak. So if black comes up, I keep playing black till red comes up. I'm not it's due. There is no such thing as due. It's whatever happens. But if it keeps happening, it keeps happening. So, I'm going to I really like Ohio State here minus, all I got to do is win now. Before you worry, you're laying 20. Are they going to win by enough? But look what they did to Michigan State and Purdue the last 2 weeks. They just annihilated them. So when a team like Ohio State, they might lay off, maybe when they play in Nebraska or they play in Illinois. But when they get focused against like a team like Purdue, who's upsetting all these teams, and then Michigan State, who's beat Michigan, they get really focused, and look what they did. And today they're really focused. This is their war, and they're going to pile it on. So yeah, I don't. Michigan does not have the defense to really stop Ohio State. Ohio State's just going to score and score and score. So, yeah, I mean, you got my opinion on it. Ohio State will win, at least 14, 20 points. At worst case, it'll be like the Penn State game, but I don't think Michigan's defense is as good as Penn State's. They have the 2 ends that come in, but believe me, Ohio State is going to run it down their throats, and they'll just counter the ends. So when the 2 ends want to blitz, they're just going to read them and run right at them, or run right away from them. They won't let the ends bother them. And it's already, as I said, this is the river, right? So we played hold on the whole season. Well, now they've seen that and they know what to do. Hey, Todd, good morning. Old Iowa safety. Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe what I saw, how they got to 28. A block punt. Are you kidding me? North Carolina State over, good bet. You've seen my big bets with locks. Feeling, yeah. Well, we're talking Ohio State now, though. I'm not worried about that game, and the others I feel obviously comfortable with. But, yeah, I mean, it should be a good day. We got it starts in about 7 minutes or so. What else has anybody got? Anything else? So again, you know you're going to get good efforts from the teams that need to win for their conference, even though they're not making the playoff. Like Louisiana, Lafayette, App State, they still want to win their division. So you know you're going to get a good effort from them. Ryan Williams. Harbaugh gets his first win against Ohio State, I guarantee it. 27. How are they going to hold them to 24 points? Tell me that one. Ken Wagenhofer. Can Georgia Tech play competitively today? No. It's another shutout for Georgia. You've got to understand that Georgia defense is unbelievable. And, you know, like look at Arkansas. They handled Missouri. They played Alabama strong. Georgia shut them out. Georgia's defense is so strong. Alabama doesn't have a chance next week against Georgia. Georgia, this is as good as Joe Burrow and LSU was offensively, where they'd score 50 points on really good teams, is as good as Georgia is as good as Georgia's defense is. Georgia's defense is unbelievable. You can't score on them. They got great linemen that put tremendous pressure on them, but then their linebackers are super fast. Their secondary is super strong. It's a complete defense. You can't score on them. Ryan Williams, Ohio State will have 3 turnovers. Oh, really? Okay. And how many will Michigan have? If you watch the Purdue game and the Michigan State game, tell me how Michigan's going to stop Ohio State. Michigan with 1. Okay. And you think that'll be the difference? Okay. I'm from Michigan, Ryan, and I don't give, unless Bo comes out of the grave today and stands on the sidelines, I don't see how Michigan is really going to have a chance in the game. They'll be fired up. So will Ohio State. They win there all the time. It used to be tease the dog from 1969 to, I think, when Lloyd Carr left. So through Lloyd Carr, you tease the dog in the game and it would win every year. I mean, it was like for 20 years, I teased the dog in the Michigan Ohio State game, and it was like, it was easy money. Always would be there. Would you consider another under with Georgia, Alabama? Georgia under with today. Yeah. Sure. Alabama needs it. Maybe Notre Dame. Louisville over. I like a lot. Virginia Tech over. I like a lot. Obviously, Miami, Wake Forest over. I like a lot. I want Harbaugh to shake hands with Ryan Day like he did with Jim Schwartz. Well, yeah, but if they were playing the Lions, I think they could win. I would take Michigan over the Lions. I agree. But Harbaugh he doesn't know how to win big games. He's choked in so many big games, and I give you the Richard Sherman game where they should never have lost. Harbaugh's a good coach, but he kills himself. Ohio State came 3 or 4 years ago, and Ohio State couldn't get a first down on him. It was the really low-scoring game that went to overtime. And he throws and it has his quarterback in the end zone throw, and he throws a pick six. It was 17-0. They're killing him. They're going to win, and he does that shit. That's Harbaugh's issue. He doesn't know how to game manage, or his punt returner will fumble twice, like against the Giants. He just doesn't know how to win the big game. Ken may have missed your take on Florida State. I think I like the game over. They're both good over teams. Florida State's quarterback he's a dual threat. So I think I like the over in the game. The over under was 59-53. Florida, I mean, I would say they mailed it in, except for this is a rivalry game, so Florida will come to play. Forget the coach. I think the best way to play it's over. I just think they can score a lot of points in the game. Ryan, I'm from Wisconsin. Would like to see us play Michigan. Well, you've got 3 losses already. You lost to Michigan. How could you lose to Michigan? I had the under in that game. I was really like shocked that that game went over Wisconsin, Michigan. But yeah, you don't have a chance against Ohio State. I don't think you have a chance against Michigan. Michigan beats Ohio State. You need a quarterback badly there. You need Russell Wilson back there. I don't know why you never recruit quarterbacks at Wisconsin. It's just really strange, but you're running okay. Your defense is you can easily pass on your defense. So I don't. You have too many holes this year. I don't know if you'll beat Minnesota today at Minnesota, but good luck on that one. But yeah, you're not gonna. I don't think you have a chance in the Big Ten title game with all the losses. Your secondary is too weak right now. So what else? UCLA I like over Cal. I think UCLA. I love their quarterback and their offense, and they're just explosive. Cal to me, I'm not a big Chase Garbers fan. And UCLA at home, they'll just pound them. They're just playing very well right now, UCLA. Ryan Williams, you watch your language. Yeah, okay. I'll watch it. What did I say? That Wisconsin doesn't have a secondary? Anyway, we're having fun. So I guess that's it. Again, Alabama, Notre Dame need it. Kentucky, I think, is a live dog today against Marshall. And somebody needs to tell me what's going on in the Penn State-Michigan State game. That Penn State's the spread's jumping to 5. And you got to be careful with spreads jumping like that. So Penn State's a 1.5, jumps to 2.5, 3, and now it's up to 5. You got to be careful about what's going on with just because the line's moving. You're looking at the sharpest sharp right here. So I bet the games early because I know the line and I know the matchups and I know who's going to win very strongly. I don't wait till now to bet the sharp money is going on Penn State. That's bullshit. The sharp money would have bet Penn State -1. If there's a state injury, I still think the line's moving too much. Michigan State is a good home dog. They beat Michigan there. So as long as the quarterback's playing, I don't know. Hey, Ryan, is Aaron Rodgers playing tomorrow? I think he is. It looks like he's probable. And that's another line movement where the Rams have gone like 1.5, 2-point favorites. I like Green Bay as a home dog tomorrow. If Rodgers is playing, it looks like Adams is playing, and it looks like even Jones is now questionable with his ankle. So obviously Green Bay sees this as a big game, and I don't like Stafford. He thinks he's on the Lions again with his brilliant interceptions in the end zone. So if Rodgers plays, I like Green Bay as a home dog. But anyway, so be careful with just because Penn State's gone. It's a meaningless game, really. Penn State, I think they've got the bowl locked up, but I don't even know. Do you play for the bowl anymore? Going 6-5 or 7-6, whatever it is now. It's not like before where you'd go 12-2 and you'd make the bowl, and the bowl meant something. Now it's like you go to the Tostitos, or the Tangerine Bowl. Who cares? So I don't know. Just seems like I don't know how much motivation that is. But just be careful there until we know who's out for Michigan State. I don't know. I might try Twitter. That seems to be more updated. But when I go to my normal places, which is normally covers.com, it doesn't seem to update this morning. And you just got to go by the line. So I just stay away from that game unless you know what's going on and you like Penn State. Michigan State can easily win. You never know what happens with an injury. The backup could be a superstar. Look at Miami with Van Dyke at quarterback. They have King, then they have some other guy, and then they finally go to Van Dyke, and Van Dyke's better than all of them. he's a star. He should be a number one first round draft pick. And he was on the bench, so you don't know what you're getting off the bench. Reed, the Penn State line moved has to be inside info. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but I don't know. It has to be an injury to Michigan. Michigan State has a couple of receivers that are questionable. And I don't know, okay, they're not playing. Maybe it's a COVID test that the quarterback didn't make. That's the only thing, because they do these COVID tests Saturday, which is really stupid. What do you need that for? Nobody's getting sick, and these football players. I've not heard one guy who's gotten COVID. All they do is they test positive, but they've never gotten COVID. It's just a flu, so I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. Todd, the line just dropped 1.5 on UTSA North Texas. They're an injury or something. That's a good question. Total -8.5. So UTSA. So they're 10. Now they're 8.5 over North Texas. UTSA is the A team. They're undefeated. They don't have a chance for the playoff, but I think they've already clinched. Yeah, I don't have them on my list that they needed. They're already in. They're going to play the winner of the Western Kentucky Marshall game. So I don't really know. What is that? That's a night game, I think. Yeah, I mean, if you like UTSA, but they're not, under 3 would be good, but I'm not sure what's going on there. But they won last week. We had them, and that's the game they needed. And they beat a good UAB team. UAB killed UTEP this week. So I don't know, 8.5. It's a good play under 3. I mean, they're going to try. North Texas is an E team, so their defense isn't that strong. So UTSA should score a lot on them. But I don't know if you can find out what happened. Again, with these COVID tests Saturday morning, you don't know what's going on with it. So you don't know if the quarterback tested positive for COVID and he's out. Again, it's maybe on the ESPN line, but I don't know if they'll talk about UTSA on it. And that's the only thing that seems to be current. Or Twitter. Twitter, if you can jump into UTSA on Twitter, they might say maybe if there's somebody out. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not putting money on North Texas and 10 to drop the line to 8.5. Again, the Sharps not looking at that game. Let's put it that way. Again, Nevada, if you like that at night, if you want to bet the midnight game, Nevada -3, I think is a good one. Play it. It looks like if Aaron Rodgers is playing, I like Green Bay as a home dog tomorrow. I got one lock in the pros. I'll give you as a dog. And I think New England should be good. So if you want to bet them and, the college games are done, just, maybe UCLA will still be around at that time. Or, like I said, take Green Bay, take New England. Pittsburgh, it looks like TJ Watt is probable with a hip. So if him and Roethlisberger play, and Roethlisberger is questionable, but I can't imagine he doesn't play, then it's probably an over, and it's probably a Pittsburgh play. Cincinnati scores. The defense is okay. Pittsburgh lit up San Diego last weekend, so I don't think Pittsburgh's going to have problems scoring. So as long as Roethlisberger, if he doesn't play, then just play the game under or Cincinnati. But as long as Roethlisberger plays, I think you tease the dog there, and maybe the over, whatever you like. So there's always the Sunday game that you can play. Now I'm going to talk a little high level. So let's say you played Nevada +3 and they win, and you tease it with Green Bay, and you're going to get 7.5, 8 points with Green Bay. So let's say you bet $500 on it. So what you can do is trap the game. Now here's how you trap it. You've already won the Nevada side. Here comes Green Bay, and you got a good number. You got 7. It's 1.5 or 2. So let's say you got 7.5. Now you can take and bet the Rams -1 in a trap. Well, what does a trap mean? Well, it means you can't lose, and you could win both sides. Well, how can you not lose? Because you won the Nevada side. So if you win the Nevada side, now it's Green Bay and 7.5. You cash 500. The only way you can lose is if the Rams blow them out. Okay, so now you take the Rams -1 or 1.5, and you bet maybe 300 or 400 on it. You don't bet the full 5. You bet 3 or 4. And then if the Rams blow out Green Bay, which is highly unlikely, then you win the Rams, you lose Green Bay. So you win, let's say you bet 400 and you lose 500. You could bet 500. Well, you're going to get juiced is the problem. So let's say you bet 400. So you win the 4, you lose the 5. So instead of losing 550 or whatever your juice is, you lose, you win the 4, so you lose 150. If Green Bay wins, because you have the 7.5, you win 5, you lose 440, so you still win 60. You still win. But if the Rams win by a field goal or 6 or 7, you win the Ram bet, you win the Green Bay game, you win 900. That's the beauty of the trap. And you got to have a good number like this 1.5, 2 number where they win by a field goal, they win by a touchdown. Now, you can use it if you don't want to lose anything and you don't want to risk, but you've already got the hard part. You've got the first half of the teaser in, so now it becomes the second half of the teaser. And you've already got the advantage. You got Green Bay in 7.5 or 8 at home against the Rams. They should win the game, but you've got them plus over a touchdown. So you might not want to risk anything, or you might want to risk 200 or 300 and try to middle the game. I've done that, not a lot, but I have I have trap games, and I have won both ways. And I've done that more than, I've done that pretty often when I do it. So let's say I've done it 50 times. I probably hit the middle like 35, 40 times. But I'll do it with good numbers. I won't do it with bad numbers. So if it's like I got it under 3, and the spread's 8, so I've teased it down to 2, then I'll take the 8 and they win by 7. That's probably the more logical way to win. You want the straight bet to be over 7 and the teaser to be under 3. But that's always a thought. If you're losing, you don't want to lose more, you trap the game, and then you really have kind of isolated the bet where you really can't lose, but you could win them both. So if you really need a win, maybe you do that. But your first thought is, why am I betting it? And then you're going from there, and you're taking, so you're taking strong plays. If you're playing Nevada, Green Bay, you like Green Bay. Otherwise, you wouldn't be playing them. So that's my point. So that's really the advanced way of teasers, is to then start trapping the games where you bet you got them in the teaser, but it only works. The first half must win. So you must hit the Nevada to then, now you got Green Bay, and now you can play both the Rams and Green Bay and hope to trap. The first half doesn't win. You can't do it, and you can't do it first. So if you play Green Bay with the Monday night game, you can't do Green Bay and the Rams first, because then you can lose both ends of it, right? You can lose the Ram end, and then you got Green Bay in the teaser, but then you lose the Monday night teaser, let's say. So you can only do it after you win the first end of the teaser. Any other questions, picks, or anything else? I think I went over most of the games. Again, enjoy. I'm going to go watch Michigan and Ohio State, and my money's on Ohio State. All right, everybody, have a great week. I will see you this time tomorrow. We can talk pros. And good luck to everybody. I hope you make a lot of money. www.teaserking.com. Professor signing off.